The world of Hitman Reborn is governed by only the strongest of mafia families, but one family stands at the top of the mafioso world. Let's take a deep dive into the current boss and answer the question of who is Suna and his guardians. Yo, welcome back to the channel, house fam. It's your boy Jay, back with another Hitman Reborn video for y'all today. But before we get into the video, let's drop that intro. In today's video, we are going to explain the roles of the 10th generation Vongola boss and his guardians, who are the current head of the Vongola family. All the guardians in Suna's family have had some connection with Suna prior to becoming his guardian, except for Chrome, one of the Mist guardians, who's like a semi-guardian through Makuro. Suna himself actually never chose his guardians, with the group being mostly chosen by the titular tutor Reborn and his father. This generation is the true successors of the Vongola, as they were the only generation since the first to be approved by the first generation boss and guardians and receive the original Vongola rings, called the second coming of the first Vongola family by Demon Spade, the first generation Mist guardian, because both generations have shared so many physical characteristics and flame types. And if you haven't checked out my other two videos on Hitman Reborn, def check them out as they add more context to the dope world of Hitman Reborn. Without any further ado, let's break this joint down. The duty of the Mist Guardian is creating something from nothing and nothing from something, thus bewildering the enemy to render the family's true form intangible with visions of deceit. The 10th generation Vongola Mist Guardian are Makuro Rukudo and Chrome Decoro. Let's start with Makuro, cause he was always the true Mist Guardian in my eyes, serving as the first big bad of the series, which gauged Suna's power potential, introducing both Suna and the readers to the powerful enemies to come in the mafioso world. After getting their hands put on him, he is sent to prison and uses Chrome as his vessel and outlet to the outside world, who agrees due to her losing some internal organs from a car crash. Chrome is a skilled fighter and def can hold her own as an illusionist, but whenever Makuro popped out, I'm sorry, he just stole the show and is on another level when it comes to illusions and power. He stands on equal terms against Hibari, Byakuran, Suna, and Demon Spade. Both Makuro and Chrome can use the 6 paths of reincarnation. Yes, he was the pain before pain, although Makuro is able to use all of the 6 powerful eye-based techniques, while Chrome can only use a couple paths proficiently. These powers grant them the ability to conjure real illusions using the skills of those they possess and the power to summon and control deadly animals, and also increase their combat abilities. The 6th and final path, which is probably my favorite, allows Makuro to mind control others. Chrome and Makuro are almost never seen without that thing on them. Their favorite weapon is a trident, which when it cuts someone allows them to possess them and control their mind of their opponents. They are both in possession of the Mist Ring, which Chrome is usually seen after she becomes Makuro's vessel. During the future arc, like the other guardians in Suna, they actually receive 2 upgrades. The first being Makuro, a Mist attribute bird type box weapon exclusive only to them. Makuro releases mist flames from its wings that enhance Makuro's and Chrome's illusionary abilities. Through Cambrio Forma, their box weapon upgrades into Demon Spade's Devil Lens, which is inspired by the weapon used by the first generation Vongola Mist Guardian. These lenses enable the user to see through illusions and reveal the true nature of their attack, making them a natural counter to illusions out there and massively boosting their powers. The second upgrade they receive is the access to the original Vongola rings, which unlock the true power of the rings, with all the Suna and the 10th guardians only operating at 50 power percent level up until this point in the story. The upgraded version of the Vongola Mist ring after the original ones were destroyed is the Vongola Gear Earring of the Mist version X. In this upgraded form, Makuro can transform his trident into a Kahakara that buffs the 6th path by manifesting eyes that multiply and surround his opponents, with each eye containing a 6th path power. Yikes. It is so OP that it allows Makuro to create illusions that are even capable of deceiving Demon Spade's Devil Lens, a power that was already on another level. The spirit tips of the rings can also extend and stab through enemies, extending the range of the 6 paths. Makuro and Chrome are cool, and I like the spin since we had a true and illusionary guardian, truly fitting the role since Makuro was always creating something out of nothing. The duty of the Lightning Guardian is to draw damage to himself and away from the rest of the family, serving as a lightning rod. Hands down, the Guardian with the coolest name is Lambo, a 5-year-old hitman who comes to Japan to kill Reborn, but takes an L every time. His weapon of choice is a 10-year bazooka, which when used on himself turns him into a decade-old version of himself, and it also kicks off the whole future arc. But he's usually the comedy of the Guardians, but always find a way to persevere and hold his own. Arguably, he's the weakest Guardian of the 10th generation, and his power ranges as much of the range of his tantrums. The amount of power that he unleashes depends on his mood swings, only being able to go full out with his power when he is super tight. But if he cannot keep his emotions in check, he tends to blindly wreak havoc that harms not only both his enemies but friends alike. Now his 25-year-old version is fully matured and is with all the shits, and we get to see him cook during the future arc. He was washing opponents until the 10-year bazooka time limit ran out. As a child, he uses hand grenades, which he hilariously hides in his throat, and the aforementioned bazooka. But where Lambo really shines and gets into his bag is when he is in his older versions. Due to being struck mad times as a kid by lightning, he's become immune, becoming essentially a conduit, allowing his skin to easily carry electricity and discharge it into the ground, thereby protecting his brain and internal organs. Even Reborn stated that this ability alone makes Lambo the most perfect candidate possible for the rank of the Guardian of Lightning. With the use of the lightning flame and ring, teen and adult Lambo can summon in a thunder set of horns to summon lightning and store them into the horns, which are always followed up with various lightning-based attacks that are fully mastered in his older versions. Lambo's exclusive box weapon is Gyudon, a lightning attribute animal type box weapon. A nice little shout out to Lamborghini's mascot, with Gyudon being a raging black bull just like the Lambo mascot. Gyudon can wrap Lambo's body in solid lightning flame in the shape of a bull and is basically impervious to any physical attack. And on the offensive side, it vastly increases his strength. In his cameo forma, Gyudon turns into Lampow's shield, modeled after the weapon used by the first generation Vongola Lightning Guardian, Lampow. This horn shield amplifies Lambo's attack and defense, as well as allows him to use a cornea full mine, allowing the shield to release OP lightning flames to fry enemies around Lambo. On top of that, the bolts released are strengthened by the lightning's flame hardening characteristic, easily piercing surrounding enemies. The upgraded version of the Vongola Lightning Ring is the Vongola Gear Thunder Helm version X. In this form, Gyudon merges with Lambo to form an armor that has different switches, allowing him to use different moves. When he pushes the second and third switch on his chest plate, the horns of the helm change shape and become larger, allowing him to use different moves such as the Cornea Mola Electro Shock, an attack that causes the horns to coil up and become electromagnetic. And in combination with the lightning flame's hardening characteristic, he can use moves that are capable of obliterating a mountain. Overall, Lambo is just a fun guardian. The duty of the Sun Guardian is destroying the misfortune that attacks the family with their own body. They become the sun that brightly shines on the arena. The Sun Guardian is the man who lives his life to extreme, Ryohei Sasagawa. Honestly, this was my dog. Something about him made me like him, but man, would he get washed every time. He's like in that lower tier with Lambo, even with being physically and mentally one of the strongest. He was another Chad, low-key just running into battles and getting washed.
This man was a track star.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
But nonetheless, a great guardian and loyal friend to Suna. Ryohei is an excellent boxer who possesses great strength, always training non-stop, and is always fighting against opponents with that extreme spirit, like Suna does in Dying Will mode. Even the Dying Will bullet, which increases a person's strength by removing the body limiters, has no effects on him since he always lives to the extreme. Like, when I say this guy is strong, he is strong. Even before he gained the Sun Ring, he already had a move called Maximum Cannon, allowing him to punch buildings to smithereens, and took that up a notch when he was able to turn this attack into another variation that turns it into a combination of them cannon punches. Yikes. But after becoming a Sun Guardian, the Sun Flames allowed him to use moves like Sunshine Counter that took all the damage previously received and fired it back with a devastating blast of Sun Flames. The more damage taken before it was used, the more damage it dealt. Being used to taking extreme punishment and being able to handle it, Ryohei is also capable of releasing Sun Flames from his ring and using his activation ability to speed up the natural healing process. His exclusive box weapon is a battle-scarred kangaroo named Garu that can transform into a set of boxing gears. The gloves have thrusters that emit sun flames, making Ryohei's punches even more overpowered, and boots that allow him to hover. The boxing gear was modeled after the first generation Sun Guardian Knuckles' weapon of choice. To access his cameo former, Knuckles' Maximum Break, which is another set of boxing gear, Garu has to hit Ryohei with a sun enhancement shot, which contained pure sun flames, thus increasing his speed, reflexes, and overall agility because of the sun's flame activation characteristic, allowing him to perform feats that an ordinary human could not. But the con is, since the sun flames are so pure, Ryo can only stay in this mode for about 3 minutes. Lastly, the upgraded version of the Vongola Sun Ring is the Vongola Gear Bangle of the Sun version X. In this form, Garu becomes more armored and no longer has blasters on his back, and is also not just delegated to some support weapon, as he he is shown to attack. But more importantly, Garo can actually use the Sun Flame's activation characteristic to heal even the most serious injuries. Version X has Ryo looking like a dripped out Ippo from Hajime no Ippo. In this form, the 3-minute limiter is removed and he has more armor, including new boots that use Sun Flames, allowing him to actually fly. And the Bangle now has 10 pieces of metal sticking out. These metal parts can produce Sun Flames. When taking 10% damage, the Bangle ignites a Sun Flame on one of its metal pieces. When Ryo releases a Sun Flame, he has to take more damage to recharge the Bangle. But when it's at 100%, he unleashes my favorite move from him, the Maximum Sunshine Counter, able to unleash the full power of the Sunshine Counter, launching a vicious punch capable of burning anything in its attacker radius, including himself. The explosion has such a devastating blast radius, and from the force alone, it causes the attack to look just like an exploding sun. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video where we will be breaking down the rest of the Guardians and the boss. Thank you, House Fan, for stopping by the channel. We here at the House of Animation are dedicated to bringing you guys the best content we can, and we put a lot of hard work into these videos. So it would mean a lot if you could mosh the like and subscribe button, and make sure to turn them alerts and notices on to make sure you do not miss out on any of our amazing content. Also, make sure to drop a comment below to let us know if you agree with this breakdown or what else you would like to see us explore on this channel. And well, with that, House Fam, you already know what it is, baby. Got a blast.